As the Delta variant continues to spread, there's an increase in the number of people getting tested for COVID-19. Good evening, I'm Jesse Pagan.
I'm Carlo Chiquetta. We've heard from people here in San Diego who say they're now having trouble finding a place to get tested.
News 8's Shannon Handy has more on the problem and where you can go for a COVID-19 test now.
Carlo and Jesse, we're in Claremont outside a pop-up COVID testing site where you can simply walk up without an appointment and get tested for free. But what we're hearing is that at some places you need an appointment, which are becoming harder and harder to get.
I need it today because I'm not feeling good, and that's my concern right now.
Lucy Martinez and her family drove from Vista to Claremont Tuesday for a COVID test after being turned away closer to home. Did you try places there before you drove here?
Yes.
How many?
Like 3, 4.
And what did they tell you when you showed up?
They told me that I needed an appointment.
They wound up at a pop-up clinic in a parking lot off Balboa Avenue, where workers say testing has increased dramatically over the past several weeks.
3.5 weeks ago, 4 weeks ago, it was 5 to 15 people in a day, sometimes 5 in a day. Now, yesterday was 72.
County sites are seeing the same type of demand. At this one in Linda Vista today, a sign out front read no more walk-ins. Countywide, during the month of July, the daily number of COVID tests fluctuated from a low of 3,621 on July 6th to a high of 15,142 on July 29th. Not nearly as high as the winter months when the county averaged 30,000 tests a day, but still an increase. County officials tell News 8 they are working on opening more sites, starting with 4 this week alone, including at Cal State San Marcos, where this morning 100 people were already waiting in line.
Worked over the last week to make sure that we are ready to go and opened first thing this morning, and we're back in business here at Cal State San Marcos.
Testing project coordinator Ryan Clabo tells News 8 at this point the county can handle the surge and is focused on keeping up with it as long as needed.
We've concentrated on opening up multiple sites and larger sites so that we can handle a larger volume of people.
As for how to find a location, the county website is a good place to start. There you can find county testing locations, hours, and whether or not you can walk in or need an appointment. Pharmacies like CVS also offer free testing, as do other private entities. On average, results come back in 1 to 2 days. With or without insurance, most places offer free tests, with the exception of rapid tests and copays if you get one from certain medical providers. San Diego State is among one of the larger facilities that will become a COVID testing site in the coming days. Details are still to come. As for that county website, we have it up on ours. Just go to CBS8.com and click on this story.
Thank you, Shannon. And as COVID numbers continue to rise here, Scripps Health in Encinitas has brought back overflow tents outside of its emergency room. Hospital officials say they've seen an uptick in patients overall, not just those with COVID-related symptoms. Many who have delayed care for different issues during the pandemic are now deciding to get checked out. They're also seeing more patients with mental health concerns. They say the tents have provided them with 5 additional intensive care unit beds.
A group of tigers at the San Diego Zoo Safari Park is showing COVID-19 symptoms.
This comes only a week after a pair of snow leopards tested positive for COVID at the San Diego Zoo. A test of fecal samples on a group of Sumatran tigers came back positive. They're now awaiting confirmation from a national laboratory. Because the tigers are a tight-knit group, keepers assume that all 6 have been exposed, and all of them are now in quarantine as a result. The tiger trail habitat is also closed to the public until further notice.
It's a story you first saw here on News 8 back in June. A house and property in Bay Terrace's neighborhood piled high with trash. Neighbors complained of the stench of urine and feces, saying the smell is unbearable on hot days.
But now some results. A cleanup effort got underway today. News 8's Heather Hope spoke with a still defiant man who lives there.
And here is that progress. Close to 5 truckloads of debris have been removed from that home. Neighbors say they've been dealing with it for over 10 years. The city attorney got involved in 2018, and neighbors contacted the city's nuisance and abatement team to finally get some results. Not taking the moving of his stuff easily.
Hey, that's for the animal. Hey! That's for the animal.
The resident of this home on Mesa Hills Court got combative with City of San Diego crews moving truckloads of trash and his belongings off the property.
I don't care. You need to. You can't.
News 8 was here in June after neighbors' complaints of foul smells of human waste and trash piled high outside the Bay Terraces home. Those living nearby say they are fed up.
It's kind of disrespectful to everybody else to maintain that kind of an environment at the same time.
Stepping in, the San Diego City Attorney, Mara Elliott, released this statement regarding the cleanup of the Mesa Hills Court property. While our office set up this process in motion, it is now the court that oversees the receiver it appointed to abate the public nuisance. The court receiver is Richardson Griswold of Griswold Law, who says this 5-truckload cleanup cost about $24,000. Griswold says it could take 2 months to clean and inspect the property to get it up to state health code. Here is the resident of the home in his own words.
I give them my phone number. They don't tell me they're coming. Oh, they say, we inform you on the letter. And I said, I don't read the letter.
He says he's a Coast Guard veteran. His house is paid for and in his sister's name, and he feels ambushed by the cleanup crew.
You can ask the neighbors, all those nosy neighbors. I'm by myself. I'm just doing my own thing. I'm not bothering nobody.
Longtime neighbors want the resident to get help and are grateful the cleanup process has finally begun.
Obviously, we're not trying to steal anybody's trash, right? But we've got to think about property value in the neighborhood too. We're happy to see that that things are moving along. Finally, it's been a long road.
So how is someone able to live inside a home with no running water for 2 years? The city says they have issued notices but got no compliance. This whole process of cleaning up and inspection could take close to 2 months. Heather Hope, News 8.
Today was a hot one yet again across the inland valleys, mountains, and the desert, and pretty mild closer towards the coast. I'm Chief Meteorologist Carlene Chavis. We still had those 70s for daytime highs. Yesterday, you'll notice that we were in the 80s. Well, I had 70s today, so still above seasonal for most of the temperatures, but they came down just a hair. We had a high yesterday of 103. That was in Valley Center. 99 degrees for today. Also in those upper 90s for Alpine. The same for Ramona. Mid 90s. That was for El Cajon, and also had those 90s all across the mountains. So we are talking about this heat that has now been extended with that warning, and so we have an advisory that's been extended. That's going to go all the way until 8 p.m. on Thursday night. Daytime highs through Thursday will be between 95 to 105, and that will be for our inland valleys, and then potentially upwards of 105 right below 6,000 feet in the mountains. You're also talking about that excessive heat warning. It is now in play. We had a daytime high today, 115 in Borrego Springs. We're expecting that heat to stick around all the way until Thursday. We'll go ahead and take a look at your complete forecast and your surf forecast coming up. Carlo?
Thanks, Carlene. Pacific Gas and Electric says one of its power lines may have been involved in starting a wildfire that merged with the now Dixie Fire. The utility says investigators are examining a tree found on power lines in Plumas County where the Fly Fire started. It grew to 4,000 acres before it merged with the much larger Dixie Fire 2 days later. PG&E recently announced it would bury 10,000 miles of power lines in high-risk fire areas. This comes after other destructive wildfires like the 2018 Camp Fire, which were caused by PG&E equipment.
Meanwhile, SDG&E has announced some advancements in its efforts to help prevent wildfires.
It estimates that 11,000 customers could benefit from reduced public safety power shutoffs thanks to efforts like undergrounding power lines and expanding a generator grant program. SDG&E also got a new private communications network, updated its weather network, and expanded community partnerships with 211 San Diego, 211 Orange County, and others.
Residents, staff, and alumni of San Pasqual Academy are suing California and the County of San Diego for trying to shut it down. The lawsuit claims state and county officials violated the equal protection guarantees of California's Constitution, as well as the Foster Youth Bill of Rights. The group wants the State Department of Social Services to continue licensing and funding the Escondido-based academy.
The point of this lawsuit is to seek an injunction and a court order allowing San Pasqual Academy to stay open.
The school opened in 2001 and was set to close this October due to low enrollment. In May, county officials voted to restructure the academy so it can continue to serve its alumni and young people with different needs.